Tonight, Parliament's special committee probing alleged plot to remove IGP warns former MPP Upper West Regional Chairman Bugri Nabu, in whose house the secret recording revealing the alleged plot was made, not to hold the committee to ransom, insisting there will be consequences.
The committee seeks, and in trying to discharge our responsibilities, we will the powers of High Court. But we want all witnesses to respect the committee, especially our timetable.
We tell you why the chairman of the committee was not buying the excuse that Bugri Nabu was unwell.
And it seems to us that he has originated the tape or whatever it is like. We should excuse him for today on grounds of ill health. It is not good enough reason.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. It was an explosive secret recording on which the former MPP Upper West Regional Chairman Bugri Nabu was heard talking to two senior police officers, allegedly plotting to remove the IGP, that's Inspector General of Police, as part of the conspiracy to rig the 2024 elections. Now, today, Parliament's Special Committee began public hearings into the matter and wasted no time warning it will not be held to ransom. The committee was left fuming after lawyers for Bugri Nabu showed up with an excuse that their client is unable to appear before the committee because he was ill. Listen to the chairman of the committee, Atta Akyea.
The committee received a letter yesterday under the hand of lawyer Raymond Donyo, whose base of practice is Crab and Co. Requesting of the committee to excuse Mr. Bugri Nabu, who is supposed to be our first witness, because essentially we are supposed to investigate a tape. And it seems to us that, he has originated the tape or whatever it is like. We should excuse him for today on grounds of ill health. Okay, fine. I want to say that that could be a reason why we will not do business today, but it is not good enough reason, for the simple reason that unless it's a debt-dealing malady, then we can say, for one measure or the other, we can say. We do not have any supporting document by way of a medical practitioner that this gentleman should be excused. So we do not want people who appear before this committee subsequently to be using excuses to delay our work. It is very, very important. And what we intend to do is that the committee wants to confer, and we will see the next agenda date, which will be very, very good. And he comes in here and we conclude the business.
He warned the committee will crack the whip if this happens again.
Parliament shall appoint standing committees and other committees. I think this is especially, so this will be an other committee, as may be necessary for the effective discharge of its functions. Now let me read 1036. A committee appointed under this article shall have the powers, rights and privileges of the High Court or a justice of the High Court at a trial for A, enforcing the attendance of witnesses and examining them on oath, affirmation or otherwise, compelling the production of documents, and C, issuing a commission or request to to examine witnesses abroad. So with the greatest of respect, the committee seeks, and in trying to discharge our responsibilities, we wield the powers of High Court. And I beg to say that this is not like we're going to be breathing down, on the noses of those who attend this committee. But we want all witnesses to respect the committee, especially our timetable. I do not believe it is right and proper that when people are invited to appear before the committee, they have scheduled the committee. It should be the other way around. The committee, if you know all the sacrifice, people should be in their constituencies and the rest of it, they are here. And the witness is the one who is trying to hold us to ransom. And I expect that all those who appear before the committee will know time consciousness is very important for us. It's not a witch hunt. These are very decent members of our community, and we'll give the devil his due.
Well, lawyers for Brugger Nabu were forced to apologize.
I'd like to take the opportunity to apologize profusely on behalf of my client, who is not here today. I wish to inform the committee that indeed my client is a septuagenarian, bedeviled with circumstances like this. And so it is not the intention of the client not to appear before the Honorable Committee. And so the chair and I spoke after he received our communication about his absence today. And he reminded me of the clear mandate of the committee and the timeline and time constraints. And so we have committed ourselves to assisting the committee to do its work as far as possible. And so that's our commitment and assurance to the committee. And so it is in that spirit that we are proposing the shortest possible time for consideration of the committee for Monday, the 28th of August, 2023.
You have the instructions of your client that Monday, by the permission of God, you will be here. And if that is so, then we can take a decision on the matter.
That is so, and I'm very grateful for this intervention. As lawyers, we only represent the interests of our client. We take instructions from the client. And so I'll ask permission from the committee to excuse me for 2 minutes just to confer with my client. Okay.
Yes, we resume sitting. And council, were you able to confirm Monday as a very good date for your client to show up before this committee?
That is so.
I want to bring in right now the chairman of the committee, Samuel Atta Akyea. Also joining me is the ranking member. He is Mr. Agaga, who happens also to be the ranking on the Defense and Interior Committee, James Agaga. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Mr. Atta Akyea, so do I take it then that this then, on the back of what happened today, you've been forced to adjourn to Monday?
Yes, that is the state of affairs. Unfortunately, the members were ready to commence proceedings, but the star witness, as we might want to say, couldn't make it, and we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. All things being equal, we should meet on Monday, and then we'll start formal proceedings. But my good friend, Honorable James Agaga, is the vice chairman, not the ranking.
Vice chair.
So, it's not like the normal committees where you have the NDC dimension and have the MPP dimension.
You were clear that he can hold you to ransom, but he was simply unwell.
Sorry?
He was simply unwell.
Well, there was no evidential support for that. And we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. When you say you're unwell, have you seen a medical doctor of some record who will certify that you are not well? Because half the time, people might want to use ill health as an alibi to avoid attending to serious matters. But we are not going to have any of that. We want to finish this thing off as quickly as we can, so even some of the members can go back to their constituencies and do serious business. So excuses will not be countenanced at all. And we don't want such things. But the sheer fact that council came and said we should adjourn to Monday, we said, well, that is it. But we don't want to set the bad precedent in which people are justifying why they cannot attend upon the committee, but they do not have evidential support of ill health or very serious considerations of that nature.
You called him a star witness. Why?
Well, because of the fact that he seems to have confirmed somehow that he is in the audio, and as to the circumstances how he is in the audio, he will come and explain, and that is why we believe so. Because when he should confirm the audio and also identify those who were a part of the space where it was recorded, then we can then invite people properly. This is our humble view of the matter, that the whole investigation or interrogation of the matter is premised on an audio tape. And we have some modicum of evidence that he was part of it.
Your vice chair joins me now, Mr. James Agaga. Mr. Agaga, so you were also today on the committee when this happened. Do you share the strong views expressed by your chairman on this matter today with Bugri Nabu's absence?
Yes, Evans, let me say good evening to my senior at the bar and, of course, the chairman of the committee. I'm his vice chairman, as a matter of fact. To answer your question, Evans, the chairman has been spot on. This morning, the committee was not satisfied with the, if you like, attitude of the witness, Mr. Bugri Nabu. I mean, when he was supposed to appear before the committee this morning, a letter was sent to the committee, and like the chairman rightly pointed out, that letter ought to have been accompanied with a medical report, at least to put matters beyond doubt that Mr. Bugri Nabu is indisposed. Unfortunately, we what we saw was a bare letter without the attachment, as we normally would do in court. Remember that this committee has the powers of the High Court. So, in the wisdom of the committee, we thought that, look, we would give Bugri Nabu the benefit of the doubt and allow them to come on Monday. The chairman had, words of wisdom for them, and council, fortunately, took a cue from the admonitions of the chairman. And so we expect that moving forward, witnesses who would be appearing before the committee would accord the committee the respect that the committee deserves. Look, we are on vacation. We ought to be in our constituencies. But you see, the committee, the speaker tasked us with this job to look into the leaked audio and make recommendations to the House. They gave us some timelines. We don't want to default. And so it is our expectation that there will be cooperation, and then we can work expeditiously and put matters to rest. I mean, we'll send recommendations to the plenary, and appropriate decisions, will be taken.
The entire committee is based on this secret recording, which I believe you are in possession of. Have you done any preliminary assessment of that particular tape?
Yes, we've listened to the tape, but as you are aware, or may be aware, one of the tasks of the committee is to authenticate the audio. So we will not take things for granted. When Mr. Bugri Nabu clearly has been identified as one of the voices captured in that audio appears, I guess one of the objectives of the committee would be to authenticate that, yes, indeed, the audio is not somebody's imagination. It was real. He took part in those meetings. And of course, we'll be expecting that he would also assist the committee to identify those who engaged him in those conversations on the leaked audio.
Mr. Tyson, should I take it then that as of this moment, the committee does still not know the other voices on the committee or on the tape? You don't know who they are?
Yes, what we are trying to do is to do a proper fact finding. We don't want to do conjectures or imagine the evidence. So now that we have fingered one who is there, the evidence will unfold. And mind you, the gentleman who we want him to come and start, will testify on oath. You see, which is a very serious matter. When you testify on oath and you don't want to come forth with the truth, then you are treading on dangerous ground. They call it perjury. So this is how we want to do, but we don't want to assume that we know the full evidence. We want the evidence to unfold so that people will just listen in and say, oh, this is what he said. And then it will be interrogated. You have the benefit of counsel, so I don't think there should be a problem at all.
Can he decide not to come? Because if this matter maybe down the line may become a case of criminal investigations, possibly prosecutions, he doesn't want to incriminate himself. Can he choose not to come?
Well, if a former summons had been placed on you that you should appear before court and you don't want to come, the next stage is what we won't call ourselves a bench. They call it bench warrant will be issued, but we are not a bench. So the proper, processes will be issued, and the police who work with the parliament will effect it for us. And we don't want to.
As in the parliamentary police? You mean the parliamentary police?
Yes.
Can effect an arrest on your behalf? On your orders?
Yes. The orders of the committee will be carried out by the police who assist us in trying to run parliament. It's as simple as that. But I do not think we should get there. That anybody would want to dare a committee of parliament to go ahead and bring you by the force of the law. That will not be the case at all. I hope we won't get there.
James Agaga, the matters you're about to investigate, they are very sensitive matters, bordering on national security, bordering on election integrity. And yet, you've chosen to do this in public. Today, the cameras were there. People have a right to say, I don't want to sit in the public hearing and discuss these very sensitive matters openly.
Well, Evans, how sensitive is this matter when there is a leaked audio? The public has become privy to the content of the audio. And so what the committee basically would be seeking to do is to establish the authenticity of that audio. When it now comes to the question of evaluating it, that is the job of the committee. We may do that, in camera. The cameras wouldn't have the privilege to be there to telecast live how would evaluate the evidence that we would elicit from the witnesses who would appear before us. So, I don't see how injurious our work would be to national security.
You're going to have possibly senior police officers coming before you whose identity, has been speculated, but they haven't owned up like we've seen Brigadier Nabu own up to it, coming before you and talking about an alleged plot to remove their boss so they can allegedly rig the 2024 election. Those are very explosive matters indeed.
Evans, the chairman made it very clear from the beginning that the committee wields the powers of the High Court in dealing with witnesses. And so, in the wisdom of the committee, if it becomes apparent that the line of testimony of a witness could be injurious to national security, the committee would advise itself. We could decide that, listen, given the sensitive nature of the testimony, we would want to have that behind closed doors. Those powers are well within the remit of the committee. But from where I sit, I cannot foresee something of the sort happening because we are dealing with an audio which has already been leaked. And so it's as simple as that. If the witnesses who would be appearing before the committee admit that yes, these are our voices, etc., our line of questioning is going to be based on the audio. And so, well, let me not be or judgmental. When we get there and the need arises, we will do the needful. The powers of the committee are awesome. We can decide. I mean, like when the High Court is sitting and issues of national security comes up, there is a way of handling such situations. And you can expect that this committee would live up to expectation in that regard.
I mean, Chairman, you agree these are sensitive matters and it may put people off, witnesses you want before you, to pull them off, considering the approach you've adopted to put this on live television?
My vice chairman has said it all, you see, and I'm glad that you are equally a man of wisdom and you've prompted us. If in trying to interrogate any of the issues of national security should pop up, we will exercise our discretion in the matter. And things that should not come into the public domain, we will put in the public domain. And that is how we are going to tread. We are very much conscious of the national security implications of what we are trying to do. But as you rightly said, the tape ceases to be of national security matter, Because if the cat is out of the bag, then what is the national security about it? The only thing which is important is that if we should bring individuals who, by the testimony, were on the tape, but their testimonies are going to hurt national security. Clearly, I don't see how we'll be insensitive to the matter of national security, ignore national security, and proceed with the interrogation. We are not going to do that.
Fair to say that your approach is largely dependent, going forward, largely dependent on what you hear from Burkina. In fact, the determination of who to invite next will largely be based on what Burkina says to you.
Yes, it's consequential, because at the end of the day, if you were a fact-finding committee, you don't have to assume anything. Even if we had pieces of evidence now under our sleeves, we will not disclose. We will be quiet about it until it unfolds. And then we'll be able to direct the proceedings according to the way the evidence is unfolding. And then if we can say that we need to call X, Y, so and so and so and so and so, then that'll be it. Because
please proceed.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, any committee of this nature should not, come across as having prejudice. So right now, we want to tell everybody that we are empty of every evidence until they fill us in. And then we'll be able to direct that, this piece of evidence will aid the interrogation, or this other piece of evidence is not too important, jettison it. And then we'll be able to come out with something comprehensive and insightful. This is what we intend doing. And every help we need, we'll find it. Even if I have to consult you, I'll consult you.
and you just raised the point that I need to come to James Agaga on. James, you were giving a technical person to assist the committee. Because this has to do with tape, secret tape with people's voices on it, is the committee looking into getting technical help in doing a forensic analysis of what was said and what wasn't said? Because you still have to verify, even when people tell you stuff before the committee, the tape is still your fundamental piece of evidence.
Well, Evans, the speaker in his wisdom appointed, or if you like, nominated a technical person to assist the committee. And that person is Dr. Annan. He's somebody who is very experienced. He once worked with Chirac as an investigator, and therefore he brings on the table a lot of experience that should benefit the committee in the long run. Having said that, you want to know whether we'll be doing some forensic analysis of the tapes that we have before us. You see, our procedure is not going to be different from what obtains in court. And so, where, for instance, admissions are made, and you are not required to prove anything, why would you engage in a forensic analysis again to establish what? But you see, where there are denials, in the course of the testimonies, of the witnesses, the committee can then take a decision that, okay, we want to take the matter, a little bit higher by engaging the services of, say, people who are knowledgeable in forensics to authenticate the audio. But for now, we haven't heard the witnesses yet, so it's too early in the day to preempt anything and conclude that we're going to engage in forensic analysis of the audio.
You just said witnesses. Who else have you lined up as far as invitations are concerned?
No, the chairman has made it clear that we have not predetermined anything. We have an audio which is out there. It's leaked. First, its authenticity must be established. And once the authenticity of the audio is established through the testimonies of the witness who would appear, the star witness, we will then be in a position to determine which witnesses to call next. As it stands now, we may have listened to the audio, the public has listened to the audio time and again, but for our purposes, we approach this matter as if we haven't heard anything at all. Like the chairman said, we are empty for now. We need to be filled in, and when they come, we will try to establish whether they are the people who engaged in those conversations in the leaked audio. Once we get to that point, we're able to determine who to call next.
Thank you very much, James Agaga. He is a vice chairman on that special committee. Earlier you had Samuel Atta Akyea, who chairs that special committee, probing that secret recording on which allegedly there was a plot to remove the IGP as part of this grand conspiracy to rig the 2024 elections. We watch this public hearing closely as it resumes on Monday.
Go for gold and bet risk-free on the new season with Betway. Use the golden booking code found on the Betway site to bet on selected match weeks from 11th August to 3rd September and get 100% back as a free bet on any losses. You always get more with Betway. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway.